Fuck. Neuronymous.
Hey, boys and girls, this is another episode of Neuronymous. Happy New Year. Happy 2019. We've got a great show for you today. I've got two of my buddies over here, and we're going to talk about movies from 2018, last year, as well as just trends in movies. Just fucking movies. I'm sorry. I've had some really bad technical difficulties with this fucking thing, and I'm really pissed off, and this is going to be the last time I fucking do it, okay? So anyway, long story short, I've had a really rough 48 hours. My wife and I decided to be idiots and foster a litter of 8 little fucking shit puppies that are just in the basement sliding around their own shit. And on top of that, my wife has decided that it'd be a good idea to invite random strangers over to our house and look at these little fuckers. And I'm at my wit's end right now. I don't even know if they're sleeping. I probably should be looking at the baby monitor, which probably means I'm a bad parent because I just don't give a shit. But anyway, yeah. I'm gonna be introducing my guests here shortly. This is a very angry intro, but hopefully we will. Let's get this show on the road, because people want to know about movies, because that's the most important thing in the world, right? It's my raison d'etre, which is French for reason for being. So I'm using French now, which means I'm desperate. So anyway, we got Michael McMurphy. And we've got Adam Scott McConkey, and I will be bringing them out shortly. All right, guys, we're back. We got Michael Murphy. We've got Adam Scott McConkey, and as you know, Michael Murphy was on one of my favorite episodes, Murphy's Law, where he talked about Mila Jovovich and his friend who was very angry and wrote poetry in Austin, Texas. So anyway, that's one of my favorite moments on this whole podcast. So today, though, we are not going to talk about Mila Jovovich. We are going to talk about the fucking movies. So, guys.
Speaking of movies that came out this year, I had this conversation in the car this morning with my wife. She said, hey, we should watch Bird Box. And I was like, I keep seeing these memes on the internet, and there's stuff like a picture of a birdhouse, and it was... when you haven't seen Bird Box yet, but you still want to make memes, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was like, well, I don't know, what's it about? And she goes, well, they're walking around with a bird in a box to tell them when the scary thing is around.
Really?
And I'm like, oh, you mean like a canary in a cage?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it's a bird in a box.
See, I don't need a bird in the box right now. I've got a bunch of fucking puppies in the shit box. So, I mean, I think I'm done with boxes with anything. And to be honest, I'm afraid of birds. I am completely terrified of birds. Oh God, they're horrible.
Well, and
terrible.
I was like,
I don't know what God was thinking when he put those fucking things in it. They just fly in your car and they
shit all over you.
They shit over you. And I once got chased by wild turkeys. I took a wrong road, heading to Arkansas. Don't ask. And I got chased by this gaggle of. Can you call wild turkeys gaggle? Anyway, a gaggle of wild turkeys. Anyway, but
turkeys are below us on the food chain, man. That's not how it's supposed to work.
I know, but I was in my car, and they were just like.
Yeah, that's why we pardon them on Thanksgiving. They don't pardon us.
Exactly.
That's how.
All right. So what do we want to talk about as far as movies? I mean,
and I was like, so it's like a coal mine, right? The canary in the cage, and she's like, why would you put a canary in the cage? I'm like, that's where you put canaries, and she's like, well, they were running around trying to stay safe, so they didn't have time to carry around a cage, and I was like, well, how the hell do they know what's going on in the box? And they're like, I guess it just makes noise in there. So apparently, yeah, I didn't see it. But Adam, you saw it?
I did see it. It was. Well, I mean, you both have seen, or you've held.
I've seen A Quiet Place. Yeah.
It's not
similar
about coal
concept.
mining, then, I guess, right?
No, not about coal mining. I don't know.
Quiet Place was just, I'm trying to get my wife to watch it, and she wants to see it, and I'm like, but she's like, you're making me invest time into a movie and money when we've got these dogs downstairs. I'm sorry, it's gonna be all about the fucking dogs downstairs today. I'm sorry. I gotta stop with the dogs.
I mean, give yourself a break.
Give myself. This is my therapy. I haven't seen my therapist in 2 months because this has been my therapy. Yeah. So this. Yeah.
Jesus.
I know. I'm manic. Like my therapist, like the person who prescribes my meds. Her first reaction to everything I say is, "Are you manic? Are you manic?" Anyway, I've done this.
You're Neuronymous.
I'm Neuronymous. That's right. So, I really loved Mission Impossible. No, let's get back. We'll skip back to that one. Game Night. Game Night was. I fucking loved that movie. Did you see it?
I mean, I saw it. I thought it was okay.
Oh,
I saw it.
I love that movie because it just you never know where I never knew where it was going, and I mean the actor who played the police officer, Casey Blemons, like it was just so awkward, and like I just thought it was hilarious and just completely I've never seen a movie like it. I've seen movies like it, but it was done with such panache that I was just like. And it was just so funny, the chemistry between all the actors. And I feel like you guys are looking at me right now like I'm fucking insane.
No, I think it's my fault because I'm probably... When you said game night, I was thinking about... What was the one where they had the casino in their house? But it's not
that's the house.
Game night with Justin Bateman.
Jason Bateman, yeah.
Rachel McAdams.
Rachel McAdams and the coach
who's
from
the cop?
Casey Plemons.
Who's his brother? I'm trying to
remember. Kyle Chandler from Friday Night Lights.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was in the show Bloodline.
Yeah, Bloodline. The first 2 seasons were good of that show, and then it took a shit, and I stopped watching it.
Well, you can only do so much.
No, I thought Game Night was fun.
Yeah, Game Night was great.
I love the scene with I thought Rachel McAdams did pretty well for was that her first comedy?
No, she's been. Here's the thing.
Talking about the super awkward next door neighbor cop.
Yes, exactly.
And the dog that just bleeds all over the place.
Yeah, it gets blood all over the place. Yeah, like who wrote that screenplay? Have you guys seen Freaks and Geeks?
Yeah.
The younger brother, right? Sam Weir, on the show. He wrote the screenplay and co-wrote the screenplay and co-directed Game Night.
Like the scrawny kid?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The little brother of the hot older sister. Yeah. The one. Yeah.
I really like that.
There was also on Bloodline.
Rachel McAdams, where she's some Third Eye Blind song.
Yeah.
She's like
booping
the guy in the head with a gun, thinking it's fake. I don't know why that scene just made me.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny because it's just like and then she does the whole. You fucking bitches move, and I'll execute every last motherfucking one of you. And Jason Bateman's like, all right, people, Pulp Fiction. It's just so funny. Like, I love it. I saw it like 3 times in like 2 days in like the course of 4.
I only saw it the one time, but
yeah.
The only complaint I really had about the movie was the ending kept going on and on.
I didn't mind it because it was one of those movies where I didn't want it to end because it just kept making me laugh. But
it was good times.
Endings don't ruin movies for me, but
yeah.
So we're talking about something funny. Like, what other movies were funny this year? Obviously Deadpool 2 was hysterical.
Deadpool 2 was hilarious. Like the moment where he shoots Ryan Reynolds while he's reading the Green Lantern script. that for me was that pretty much made the year for me, because like that, like my namesake is Hal Jordan. That's who I was named after, was Green Lantern's alter ego.
Crazy.
Yeah. So like
somebody will do that character justice.
Yeah, I will. Hopefully not the DC universe. The DC extended.
That's
I heard.
who owns it.
I've heard so many good mixed things about Aquaman. I've heard it's great. I've heard it's terrible.
I never saw Justice League.
It was.
There's not gonna be another Jason Momoa to show up and be
Jason Momoa.
Wear the ring, you know.
Yeah, right.
Going back to, I know we're not talking about it yet, but Fallout, Mission Impossible, and the whole debacle with the mustache. That's my favorite thing about Justice League and Fallout. Is the whole mustache debacle.
Yeah. Did you hear about that?
Yeah. So ridiculous.
Like it's.
He had to have the mustache.
They've got billions.
Contractually had to have the mustache.
So arbitrary. Why?
Yeah. DC
Why
has.
did he have to have a mustache?
DC has billions of dollars at their disposal, and they can't fucking edit out a goddamn mustache. Like,
well, have you seen the images?
It's creepy. It's creepy. It's like no, it's like they had to put the little
Like how much would they have to pay Mission Impossible? Tom Cruise to go. Can't he shave his mustache? Can't you? Yeah, how much
you
did
don't,
he say he shot already?
cross the Tom Cruise though.
Yeah, you don't. He's actually gotten to the point where he's no longer inviting people that are not Scientologists into his house. And I'm just like, that's his own form of anti-Semitism, kind of like. I mean,
do you ever think about?
I mean,
he's
extreme famous people and like what they're doing at this exact moment, right? Like what is Tom Cruise?
I would like to
doing
think
right
Tom
now?
Cruise is like.
I don't think something that excludes every single religion except for Scientology is specifically anti-Semitic. First off.
but
I mean,
I just think it's funny that I actually think I have a chance of actually making it into Tom Cruise's house.
Is that why
start.
You're disappointed about it?
Well, I mean, he's a good-looking man, Mike. He's like. But he's no Hugh Jackman. I'm sorry.
He even played Gross Lessman pretty well. Or what was it? Tropic Thunder? Gross.
He needed that role.
Oh,
that
redeemed
him from the whole.
That was
the psycho.
Yeah.
Jumping in the couch.
Oh, look.
Yeah.
I can not take myself seriously for a bit.
Oh gosh.
And of course, the other thing was that he was parodying the money men who were pushing him aside. Yeah. I mean, that must have felt great to stick it to him on film, you know?
I do agree that much needed role for him.
Les Grossman. Yep.
Les Grossman.
Yep. Yeah,
that is a movie.
That is one of the best comedies of like the last 20 years.
Probably one of the last comedies I cried laughing at.
I mean, could they make that movie now? It's not even
it wasn't even that. Yeah, within the last.
It was.
What was it, 2008?
It was 2008.
Robert Downey
I think.
Jr. wears blackface. Like, could they do that in 2019?
I don't think they could.
I mean,
they barely got away with it then.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, nobody's burning him in effigy.
Yeah, 2008.
Yeah, 2008. Am I good or what? Yeah, 10 years ago. I feel like a lot has happened in 10 years.
It has. It's
more people have been getting killed, of color, and
statistically they haven't. But go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
we're
all right. So all right.
Yeah.
So,
let's divert from that.
Let's divert from that. Well, movies are movies. Yeah. But I'll tell you what. I really liked Peppermint. Did either of you see Peppermint?
No, I have not, and the whole weird thing we were talking about. That
fucking dog thing.
I still can't think of what that movie was.
Alright, so here's the deal. Adam thinks that I recommended a movie, or he saw I recommended a trailer for a movie about a dog named Peppermint, or something like that.
It's a white fluffy dog.
A white fluffy dog, and I did no such thing. I've never recommended it.
It's not even a movie.
It's not even a movie. It's not even a movie.
I feel like I've already seen it, though.
Because of Winn-Dixie.
Well, no. I mean, have you seen?
Marley and Me, and like.
No, I mean Peppermint with the chick from Alias,
Jennifer Garner. Oh my god, it's so good. It's from the guy who did Taken, the first one anyway.
If I've already seen, Taken. If I've already seen
Atomic Blonde.
What was
was that 2018, 2017?
It's not an espionage
Good
movie.
Lord, man.
It's just for
Stop. Jeez. It's okay. Jazz. That's what happens.
You offended the dog with
Jasper.
your statistics.
I stood up out of my seat by about 4 inches.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, because of that outburst, we were. I'm so sorry, fans, for that outburst. Apparently, Mike decided to get up 4 inches off his ass, and that scared the dog. So, yeah, this is going to be a heavily edited episode.
So, but I mean,
which is normal. I normally don't edit anything from the interviews, but this is going to be. Yeah.
I feel like if I've already seen Death Wish, and I've already seen...
How was Death Wish with Bruce Willis?
I haven't actually seen it. That's the thing. I felt like if I've already seen Taken...
like you've seen it.
And I've already seen... Like, how different is this revenge movie going to be from all the other 15 revenge... You know, like...
I know this is off topic, but that's exactly how I feel about all the Marvel superhero-themed movies. It's like you've seen one... You've seen them all. It's
my dad.
You have the premise of world's in danger, superpowers.
They're fun.
Fix it.
They're fun. To watch.
Yes.
Some are better than others.
Yeah. I feel like Peppermint will probably be fun to watch too.
Oh my god!
Not in a huge rush to go out and see it. And Atomic Blonde, I felt entirely different about. I mean,
Atomic Blonde was good. The sterile fights.
Was that one shot? That was.
They say they did it in one shot, but I believe in real life they actually did fake some of it.
I wouldn't doubt it because that's an absolute marathon of violence.
But it was brutal. She got crap.
Like they were like marionette puppets by the time they were done fighting each other.
It is astonishing to watch, and I mean my hat's absolutely off to. I mean, just the cameraman. When you look at the enclosed spaces that they were filming it in, you know, like how did they rig all that with the stairwell and the confines of this teeny little comm block?
I liked her character too because it didn't matter if she was male or female. She was just good for that role. It's not like we're gonna take this certain, you know.
If Jay were here, and I'm sorry that Josh Cabasal was supposed to be here today. He's gonna be on another episode later next week. He got sick. But yeah, he did not like Atomic Blonde because he does not like Charlize Theron. How do you not like? See,
that just reminded me of another movie.
Fundamentally disagree with.
Well, that would be interesting because
with Jay. Sorry,
if you
Jay.
watch A Million Ways to Die in the West, Charlize Theron's in that, and obviously a completely different type of role. Yeah.
What was that movie?
She's fantastic.
She played a mother. It's just kind of about her dealing with the stresses of being the mother of a newborn and caring for other children. And
was that Tully?
Yeah, Tully. Did you see Tully?
No, not it.
Was that 2018?
It was 2018, and it was directed by Jason. Who directed Ghostbusters? Ivan Reitman. Jason Reitman, who directed Juno, directed Tully, and Diablo Cody wrote the screenplay for Juno and also wrote the screenplay for Tully. So
the movie though, like
she was in Young Adult too.
I saw a review about it before I saw it, and they compared it loosely to Fight Club, which I did not see throughout the movie, but at the end it makes sense. So
wait,
I don't know
Tully was like Fight Club?
No, well, they were comparing a certain aspect of Tully to Fight Club, and I don't know if we're diving into spoilers or not, but
honestly, I don't really give a shit about spoilers. This is how I see it. If a movie's been out for 10 or more months and you haven't seen it, that's on you, man.
So
that's
without getting specific, it's more of like the psychological aspect from Fight Club, where he's dealing with loss of memory.
Yeah.
And
well, thanks for fucking ruining it for me, piece of shit.
Sorry.
I told you not to be nervous about this.
I'm just kidding.
Adam was a little nervous. This is his first time on the podcast, so I'm just ruining him. What else? Did anybody? No, I'm sure nobody but me saw Beautiful Boy with Steve Carell and Timothy Chalamet. I don't know what his name is.
It's not that I don't want to see it, but sometimes you have to be in a certain mood to watch a movie.
Well, it's about.
And it's going to be a depressing movie.
It's thoroughly depressing movie, but it's very real, and it hit a chord with me because obviously being a recovering addict, and I've talked about this ad nauseum. So, but no, I mean I think that was one of the best movies of the year. It was I think it had its flaws. I mean, I don't mind movies with flashbacks, and that movie had a lot of flashbacks. But the flashbacks need to have like to be fleshed out a little bit, so that way you can understand why it, why it's so meaningful to that character.
Did they feel like forced? Just
they felt some of the flashbacks just felt really rushed, and I was like, wait, what? Like they'd be cuts, you know what I mean? And I'd be like, what?
It was more of like an editing issue.
But with the Marvel movies, I personally think the 20th Century Fox Marvel movies have actually been better than the Marvel Studio movies. I actually really like the X-Men movies. The newer ones, not
By which you mean like
Logan.
Well, Logan.
Yeah,
Logan was amazing.
Logan and Deadpool. Yeah.
Well, Logan. The thing I loved about Logan, it could have had nothing to do with Wolverine. It was just a good. I felt it was a good. It could have been a good standalone movie.
Yeah, Deadpool is. Yeah, Deadpool 2. Well, did you like Deadpool 2?
So if you watch Logan, and then you watch, the frickin'
Spider-Man 5000.
No, actually, Superman versus Batman. Which is largely lifted from Frank Miller's The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And you have all these elements of, Bruce Wayne's supposed to be an old guy.
Yeah.
You have this very sort of dystopian kind of vision, all this darkness. Zack Snyder sort of liberally picked from a lot of that. The very look of The Dark Knight, his metal type sort of armor.
Well, and the trailer with the something about you're not God or something was written on the statue of Superman. It kind of sets the tone right there.
He definitely utilized a lot of that iconography from The Dark Knight Returns, which is fantastic to read.
Yeah,
if you guys haven't read it.
Amazing graphic novel. That's right up there with Watchmen.
But when you look at Logan and how Logan feels very authentic about, having an old Logan. Having
he had a drinking problem.
They
dealt with mental, a dementia.
Punches, you know what I mean? They were not afraid to go to that very dark place where, we're ruining these characters.
Yeah, the part where
Professor X is a shambles.
It's sad to see.
You know what I mean? Everybody's dead.
The part that really gets me in Logan, which was not this year, but it's still pertinent to what we're talking about. But is the part where he looks at the girl and he goes, "I am fucked up." He just looks. He just is desperate. He just doesn't. It's just like he just doesn't know how to deal with anything anymore, and he's talking about how everybody's dead because of him. Everybody I care about is dead because of
Well, you can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
When you're not trying to set up your next 19 movies of your mega franchise.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but here's a little Easter egg from Deadpool 2. The part where Deadpool, spoiler alert, is dying in Deadpool 2. They're actually playing the music. The same track score that they played in Logan when Logan's saying, "So this is what it's like,"
They're so smart. They don't miss a trick.
I like, with age, there's a lot more self-reflection. You can see that in Logan.
Yeah,
his character.
It wasn't just an action. It was a character study.
Yeah, exactly.
it was absolutely a character study.
Well, it had serious topics: mental illness, dementia.
I will say this: the one problem I have with the movies, I think they really screwed the pooch as far as dispatching Professor X like that. Don't get me wrong. I think it's cool that they had the balls to kill, Professor X and not let him,
especially in the way they did. I didn't even believe it was real. I thought it was a dream sequence.
I did too. I thought it was too. But it seemed like kind of a shitty way to kill off the character like that. But it was honest. They didn't do it to. They didn't. Yeah.
I guess you could say the movie is more down to earth.
It's still comic books,
more rooted.
It's no problem for them to bring him back one way or another. There'll be an alternate timeline.
Yeah, exactly. So many timelines.
Blah, blah, blah.
But on that too, just the fact that when death happens in real life, it's not all glorious and honorable.
I'm shocked that they killed that whole family. That had the farm.
Wasn't that the son from Cosby Show? The eldest son.
Theo? No, that was Eric LaSalle from ER.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, I was just like, wow, they really. They didn't just go dark. They really I didn't think they'd have the balls to kill off a whole like innocent family. You know what I mean? Like,
all you do is you just scratch out that PG-13.
Yeah.
You draw an R. Suddenly, all these opportunities present themselves.
And
it's a beautiful thing.
I watched Black Panther for the second time, and the first time I saw it, I was like, meh. Second time I saw it without all the hype, I watched on Netflix.
I still have yet to see it.
I enjoyed it a lot more.
For what it is on its own, or within the realm of
for what it is on its own.
I enjoyed the ride. It's a beautiful movie to watch, and it's a great popcorn film. And, I thought the action was fun. It's yet another big franchise movie that goes to China, which we were talking about earlier. Yeah. When they go to you know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm. Like, well, no, I haven't seen Black Panther.
Oh, really?
No,
but
I have.
And the heavy sort of Chinese market influence on films right now. I mean, they had that big section where, oh yeah, we left Wakanda. We had to go find this guy, and
I haven't seen it for the same reasons I haven't seen Solo yet. Just the oversaturation of
I just had no desire to see it. I've heard it's actually really underrated, but I mean,
I've heard it's better than
I like Ron Howard as a director.
Make money,
but just the desire, it's oversaturation. They're just trying to make money. It feels like
Star Wars movie.
Well, what pissed me off about it was the fact that wait, everybody, we're gonna have a movie about a young Han Solo, and I'm thinking to myself, we already had a movie about a young Han Solo. It's called the original fucking trilogy, where Harrison Ford was a young Han Solo.
There was a trio of novels back in the 80s that were The Adventures of Han Solo.
I'm joking.
And they're tremendous. And they were such a great body of lore that they could have borrowed from, and different situations they could have put them into, and I don't know, the things that they chose to focus on, like the shiny dice. That's something that was in a snippet of a scene where they're sort of hanging in the Millennium Falcon cockpit, and only the geekiest of Star Wars people are going to notice that, and then it's like this big thing, and then Leia's got them in the Last Jedi, and I mean.
So you've both seen Solo, right?
No, I have no idea what he's talking about.
Is it worth seeing?
So I mean, here's the thing: it's a big Star Wars movie. They spent $1 zillion on it, so you guys are going to see it eventually.
I'm sure. Yeah,
it's
going to go to Netflix.
It either is or was on Netflix. Yeah. I don't know.
I think it might be on there soon, because all of the Star Wars movies are hitting Netflix. I was actually one of the few people that actually liked The Last Jedi. I know you hated The Last.
I will say I liked Solo better than The Last.
The Last Jedi.
I just found it to be a lot less. It doesn't contradict itself so violently the way The Last Jedi does. The Last Jedi has no idea what kind of movie it's trying to be.
Well, I really wish they did something different with Rey's and Ren's relationship. It just
it seemed like
they could have done so much more than what they ended up doing.
It could have been a lot more complex in the fact that they were enemies and other allies, and then they made them enemies again, just like that.
Well, and Ren's more of a kind of a man-child. He has tantrums. It's hard to fear. So you don't have
sort of like Rick Moranis' character in like
Vader
Spaceballs.
When Anakin Skywalker slaughters all the younglings in the third prequel movie,
I have to say that may be one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
Best comedic moments of Star Wars killing him.
We'll get back to that.
That seems like a turning point to me where, okay, I don't have to like this character anymore because they murdered a room full of toddlers, essentially.
Yeah.
And that's not okay. I mean,
Right.
We hate the guys who killed John Wick's dog enough that we can watch everyone around them be slaughtered.
Yeah, and be okay with it.
I mean, I don't think Anakin Skywalker should be let off the hook, and I mean, despite his eventual redemption in the Return of the Jedi, and so I mean, Ben Solo, he killed Han Solo, he killed the other Jedi trainees,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
I mean, what is gonna have to?
What is it gonna take for us for the people to be like,
What is
yeah, he needs to die now?
the narrative jujitsu that's gonna be involved to redeem this character? And I mean, the any humor in that film was so forced. I mean, it was just shoehorned in there, and and I mean, just
there is one cringeworthy moment, like with the Rose character, the one girl, and she's like, "What will save us is love." You know, do you remember that? You know what I'm talking about?
a lot of parts like that.
And I'm just like,
some of it didn't make sense.
I mean,
what was the general's name? The lady from
don't make sense.
Jurassic Park.
Laura Dern's character.
Yeah, like, why?
I'm not gonna
why
learn
would
her
she
name
stay there?
Because I don't need to care about that. I mean,
but they have a character that you don't have any connection to, and then she makes this grand
general,
sacrifice,
and she won't tell them what her plan is.
Right.
And there's no justification for why, except they don't want the audience to know either.
Although the scene was pretty cool, it just didn't make much sense to
me.
No,
it was really cool, but like, I mean,
I heard audible gasps.
I mean, there was a lot of stuff that, like, if you watch the Harry Potter movies,
like when it just flashed and went silent, everyone's like, I liked that. It was just, why she didn't need to be there. I didn't feel sorry that she stayed behind because there was no connection.
You know, a movie actually, and it didn't come from this last year, but movie that really just stays with me. And I know you're like whatever hell, but The Greatest Showman. I'm sorry. It's like a happy movie for me. Like if I'm in a funk, I put it on. I've been listening to the soundtrack on a loop basically.
Do you like Moulin Rouge?
Oh, I love Moulin Rouge.
So you will like The Greatest Showman. They're a spectacle. Yeah. They're a story well told.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of musicals, but I did watch it, and my wife enjoyed it. My mother-in-law enjoyed it.
I'm sure they wildly
Are you fucking mocking me, dude?
I
Yeah, all the women in my life like it. But that's okay.
No, that's not what I was going for. That's just who I happen to watch.
That's okay.
I'm sure they wildly whitewash the dark parts of his character.
Oh God, he was a terrible human being in real life. Seriously, and his wife died when she was like 32. Like so, this whole forevermore and like
romance.
Yeah, and like you know.
Isn't he doing a live?
He's doing Hugh Jackman. My y'all know about me. My boyfriend. He is going on a live tour of the U.S. and world all over the world and. He's just gonna be singing songs. I think he's coming to Minnesota. I hope so because my wife and I will go see him. But I know for sure he's going to Omaha, Nebraska, which means he's coming to my hometown.
I think I would enjoy the live more than the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about musicals. I just don't.
You know what I'd really enjoy? You not talking.
Oh, okay. It's just when. Just the format doesn't do it for me. Like when everyone's, I like the story, but then everyone breaks out in song and dance. Like, it's just not my thing.
You'd be more of like kind of like a Bohemian Rhapsody kind of guy,
which I still need to see.
Yeah. Did I tell you guys that my wife and I were watching the trailer for that, and she goes, "That doesn't look anything like Prince." I'm like,
well, how about
what?
This, then?
Are you? Did it? I was like, what are you talking about?
I'm
he looks
sorry,
just...
I had to laugh at that.
No,
I
laugh. Yeah, no, she won't. She doesn't listen to any of my podcasts.
Really?
She thinks I'm in this is basically mental verbal masturbation, and she thinks it strokes my narcissism ego. It's not so far from the truth.
It's not entirely.
Yeah, I mean. Some of my little fireside chats,
I like movies about music, like A Star Is Born, the newest.
Yeah,
iteration.
The one that I still haven't seen because fucking MoviePass fucked me in the asshole.
I know you like the soundtrack.
What about like The Doors?
I never saw that one.
Seen The Doors?
I own it, I think, but I've never seen it. I technically don't own it.
I saw it in the theater. So.
Wow. Yeah. There's some movies that I've seen in the theater. People are just like, wow.
Bradley Cooper was amazing in A Star Is Born.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think didn't you say you wanted to fuck his voice?
I don't think those were words that came out of my mouth.
No, I think you texted me that in secret though.
Maybe,
is it weird that
probably?
I think you said, is it weird that I want to fuck his voice?
I probably said that. I just don't recall at the moment. But
are you
he played
playing
a
the
convincing
fifth
rock
degree?
star.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to fuck his voice. I'll just say it. How about that?
I want to fuck his voice too. I mean, like my wife is just my wife is done with the soundtrack. Like I've been playing that one on loop too, and she's like, okay, that's enough. It's on the radio now too. That song, The Shallow, is on there, and so she's like tired of it. And she's like, you can play anything but that. I'm like, but that's the one I want to play.
I've never been the biggest fan of Lady Gaga's music, but she did pretty well too. As far as her performance. I
would be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if like she gets an Oscar nomination for Best Actress and possibly wins because.
And you haven't even seen it.
I haven't even seen it, but I do know that Cher won for Moonstruck. Back. Did you've seen Moonstruck, right? With young Nicolas Cage and Cher and snap out of it.
You'll notice that Mike's being very quiet right now, and that's because any musicians that came around after 2000 have no bearing on his universe whatsoever.
What?
So continue
it was
on.
Cher.
Not Cher, but Lady Gaga.
Well, you brought up Nick Cage, and
the current
that
state
segues into a couple movies.
Yeah, a couple
last year.
Yeah, Mom and Dad.
Five more podcasts on my opinion about the current state of music.
Oh yeah, I would love to hear that. Actually, Mike will be our regular guest host. He'll be like what happened when Gene Siskel died and Roger Ebert needed a guest host. So
yeah, that must be what it's like to be old, though, right? I mean,
yeah.
When new music sounds terrible.
Are you referring to like just music in general, or certain genres like the what do they call it? I can't think of the term for it, but like all the rappers that drink like the syrup and lean and mumble rap. That's what I'm going for. It's mumble rap. Mumble, isn't that a thing now?
I mean, the last hip hop artist I was really into was like Wyclef Jean. You know?
Yeah. Wow.
And,
wow. The Fugees.
Here's the thing, like the Carnival is an incredible album.
I've never.
If you can get it anywhere, like
isn't that the Strum and the Pain?
Incredible album, and it makes a lot of people's top 5 lists.
Yeah,
but like, and I mean that's probably after 2000.
Yeah,
that album came out, but he was certainly around.
Yeah,
long before then. I just bought Ultra V, Bring the Fuego, I think it's called.
Bring the Fuego.
Super arcane, and nobody else is going to care about this. And I'm going to insert this really quick. Like, there's a band called Ruth that's this incredible sort of small time. I hate to pigeonhole them as pop punk, but I mean they've been around since the early '90s and have the most. I mean. Going by your name, you should check it out. The most neurotic lyrics of any band I've ever heard, to rival like the Afghan Wigs. If you owe it to yourself to just put Ruth into your Pandora and listen for a while. It's truly the most bizarre
too busy
stuff.
massaging my ego and listening to my own podcast.
But I mean, I'm sure you listen to music.
Yeah, I do,
and they're great. But
it is listed as a pop band.
Yeah, they sort of reformed with a couple of additional band members, and the band was called Ultra V, I guess. And they did this album that was the antithesis of everything that they do, because I don't know, it was the same sort of pop punk sensibilities, but the lyrics, like literally the first song on the album is it has that awful sort of like rapcore record scratching laid under it, and then he says, "Don't you want to go down to the Playboy Mansion?" and it's just this sort of, it dives into the excess of like sort of Spring Break, Jerry Springer Break, Good Times, MTV nonsense, and it's completely off the beaten track for Ruth, and I want to know how this album came to be. I want to be like, so were they holding a gun to your family's head, or what exactly? Did you just go, look, being awesome, but largely unrecognized is artistically fulfilling, but I got a mortgage and shit. I just need to pay for some shit. Let's just crank out a brazenly commercial album, and I don't care. I'm still gonna enjoy it because to me, it's like a parody of itself. I'm digging it. I mean, probably around like 5 songs in or something, it settles in to be like a Ruth album.
Yeah.
But, sorry, I took us way off.
I was my eyes are kind of glazing
for some reason.
Yeah.
Because he's in so many just like shitty movies, but he's a legit
Nicolas Cage.
Good actor. Like he's kind of like Val Kilmer. Oh, you're right. Val Kilmer too. He was in a. I think we talked about.
All right, so. Oh God.
But what we were saying is.
Yeah, Ruth.
You mentioned Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been in shit this year, so moving
he
on.
has.
Oh no,
Mandy.
He was in.
And Mom and Dad.
I
don't know if
I
there
didn't
have been
see
others.
Mandy, so.
Oh my
Mandy
God.
was amazing.
It's probably my favorite movie of the year.
Mandy, it's very
psychedelic.
It's visual. It's visceral.
Yeah.
You don't really question the movie, like the logic of what's going on. It's more of an experience than.
So how does that compare to Cell Block 9 or what was that?
Cell Block 99, yeah.
99, yeah. How does that compare?
It's from the same studio, actually.
But
I was wondering if that was the case.
I won't even pair those in the same category. They're like completely different movies.
Mandy is like a psychedelic.
It's an experience.
It's like an acid trip, man.
Yeah, you experience the film.
You don't go to exactly. You don't watch it.
That seems a little highfalutin, really.
You get
like I need to go get my black turtleneck on.
I guess
come back and
just the gist of it.
You don't watch the film. You experience.
You do. It's
settle down, bro.
Jasper. Stop.
So you've got like crazy Nicolas Cage. Okay. Actually, he's all over the spectrum, but you have LSD consuming like Christian fundamentalists or like a cult.
Like right-wing, like Jesus freaks.
You have these demonic type.
They're not even really biker demons. They're biker demons.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, they're
Bill Duke is in it from Predator, the original Predator.
Yeah, Bill Duke is in it, and who else?
I don't know if you've ever. Have you seen the show Vikings? King Egbert is the guy that plays the.
Linus.
I forgot his character's name. Linus.
Jeremiah.
Yeah.
So I mean, is it the thumb up or the thumb down?
Oh, it's the best. For me, it was the best movie of the year.
Definitely check it out. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and like maybe.
Well, all right.
It's set in like 1983, I think.
Yeah, 1983.
But it feels like a movie that was made in 1983.
Yeah.
Not like they're trying to copy style. It's just.
It's very organic too. I mean, it's like there's a scene where he's talking. The villain is talking to Mandy, the title character Mandy, and their faces like blend together, and like you're just like
the one of them.
I wish they'd made that when I was still an addict.
It's almost like two different movies. You have like the first half, and then shit gets crazy, and then you have the second half.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like here's why I love it. If you didn't have that first half where there's that calm before the storm, like it would mean nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, you see their relationship together. You can tell she's a damaged woman.
He has a purpose in the film.
He has a purpose in the film, and then like they take everything from him. Like
so, what I've gleaned from your information here is that it's trippy and it's violent. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah.
So, how does it compare to say The Shining? Because that was made in the 80s, right? And that's certainly trippy and violent.
Yeah, this is much more psychedelic, I'd say. I mean,
much more psychedelic than A Wave of Blood.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just the color scheme.
In The Shining, it was like scenes here and there.
Yeah,
but this is like the whole film is just kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I would say they're definitely.
I mean, on a scale from say...
I'm going to pause. On a scale of... Alright, on a scale...
On a scale of... So, say Train Spotting to full-on HR puffin stuff.
I would say it's probably right at the cusp of when it could become HR puffin stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty, like,
I don't want to over-glorify it either, because I don't like setting high expectations.
Right, no, that's
movies.
the thing. Like, I think the less you know, the better. I think just going with no expectations, and I think
if I have no expectations, I just won't watch it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But
I thought that for Nick Cage movies, that was one of my favorite movies of the year. Mom and Dad. I enjoyed it when I saw it, but not really notable.
What's that?
Lord knows he needs a win.
You know what though? I think he's kind of having a renaissance now, where people are starting to embrace his caginess. Like, I think people are starting to be like, you know what? Just let him do his thing, and we'll you know, that's what he's doing now. He does it well. We don't know.
Well, that's what's been in dispute for so long.
I mean, one of my favorite movies of like the last 15 years or so is actually the movie Knowing that he was in.
About the 2012.
Yeah, the end of the world. Yeah, and like that girl, like
wasn't Woody Harrelson in that? He was like the guy in the woods.
Or was that something else?
Knowing is basically the world's some girl like does this time capsule or something like that, and they dig it up, and she has all these different like coordinates of all these different events that are going to happen.
Oh, okay.
And basically the world is ending.
I was thinking of next.
Rachel Byrne, isn't it?
But didn't she just like write it down one day and they put it in that time? No rhyme or reason.
You mean Rose Byrne?
Rose Byrne, yeah. Rose Byrne, sorry.
No, I want to know.
That's kind of, you mentioned that's one of your favorite movies of the last 15 years.
I didn't say it's one of my favorites. I said it's one of the better movies of the last.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's one of the more underrated movies,
for
sure. I mean, a lot of people didn't...
I was expecting more of like, what were those, Treasure or whatever?
Yeah, I just need to say I think Nicolas Cage needs to just keep a beard, because when he doesn't have a beard, he looks like he's like made of wax. He's had so much facial...
What were those movies he was in, though? Were they like some conspiracy
National Treasure? I haven't seen one of those.
I have not either, but they just...
They're right up there with like the Pirates of the Caribbean. I saw the first one. That was all I needed.
That's all you need to see.
Yeah, that was all I needed.
What really stood out for you guys this year? Because we can talk about the
blockbuster
movies, but
Upgrade, because that's not a big blockbuster, at least that I'm aware of. Neither of you
stood
seen
out
Upgrade?
about it to you then?
Just, I don't know. I just enjoyed the film. It's I described it earlier, but essentially this guy, it's set in the near future, and he suffers this accident. He becomes a paraplegic.
Yeah.
And through things that happen in the film, he gets this upgrade. It's essentially this artificial intelligence that bridges the gap in his broken spine, but it allows him to walk again. But it had it's kind of in the similar vein of Venom, where it's one guy kind of talking to himself all the time.
But the actor who plays him, I haven't seen the movie, but is actually really, really underrated actor. You saw that movie The Invitation, right? Remember that dinner?
Logan Marshall Green.
Yeah. The Invitation with the dinner party, where like there's a cult. They're like, it's a cult.
I did see
that.
I
let you borrow that when I saw that too.
Did you end up seeing that one? Yeah. See that? It's the same actor who plays.
It was him. Yeah.
Except he didn't have a beard and he didn't look like a hippie. Yeah.
But it was like I don't know if you ever saw trailers for the film, but they make it seem just more action oriented.
Yeah.
They show all the
I hear it has a really good heart.
But he, when he first becomes paraplegic, it gets really dark. Like he wants to kill himself at one point, and it was like touching. It had more depth to it than I expected. But
really?
I mean, I wouldn't say it was the best movie of the year, but one of my most enjoyed films.
Weird about it is that the guy who directed it is the creator of Saw, the Saw movies.
Oh, really?
Lee Winnell,
Blumhouse.
Yeah, Blumhouse. Yep. Well, the Blumhouse Productions. You know that dude, like the guy Jason Blum, who's done like Split and a couple of the Visit, you know, and he also directed. I think produced Get Out, which I think Get Out was one of the best.
That was 2017.
Yeah, that was 2016 actually.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah. Wait. Nope, you're right. 2017. Because it's 2019. Yeah.
He's Peele's making another film. I just
Called
saw a
Us.
preview for. Yeah.
That looks good.
It looks
like
unique, I guess. It's really seen it about those doppelgangers.
Yeah, it looks really good. I can't wait to see it. But I don't want. Here's the thing. The thing I'm afraid about with Jordan Peele is that he's gonna get, pegged. Pigeonholed. Is that the right word? Pigeonholed into like that kind of like racial, kind of, horror drama. Drama.
Like the Tyler Perry of. Horror.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want. I mean, it would be nice for him to make a movie where, like, just something different than Get Out. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Get Out. Get Out was probably, I think, either number 2 or number 3 on my list last year. But yeah, no, I really love Get Out, and what other thriller is really good that nobody really saw was called The Gift with Jason Bateman.
I did see that.
Yeah, that was.
Was that 2018?
That was
dude,
like 20.
I'm
That was
years
20.
mixed.
That was
Okay.
like 2015, I think. But
I don't think I saw that until you.
That was another
suggested it
that was
to
another
me.
Blumhouse production.
Really?
Yeah, that guy. They need to give that guy a whole fucking studio. Like, I mean, he has like a production company, but I mean, he needs a whole. I mean, as many as he puts out in here, he's like the Stephen King of like films these days. Like, yeah.
One movie I want to put out there, and I know the ending totally ruined it for you, but Hereditary.
Oh, fuck that movie.
The only reason I mention it is it has a couple of the most memorable scenes from movies.
Yeah, it had some memorable scenes, but it ends up being a bunch of shit.
There's like the big spoiler thing that I'm not going to say, but it was like one of the most shocking moments I've seen in a movie where I was just kind of taken aback. It's like, what just happened? Totally changed the course of the movie. But after that, when the son is laying in bed, the camera's just on his face laying there.
Yeah, that part.
As as it goes from dusk to dawn, and then you hear like the family getting ready, and she walks out and sees the horror of what's outside. That part where I don't know why. It's just...
I think for me there is one. Here's the thing, the movie's well made. I just think it just.
I totally agree. The ending.
It is
garbage.
But that scene where like when it happens in the car accident, like when he's just like the car's just he's like stopped, like, and he's just like
it was
like, that part. You're just like
the first the 2/3 of the movie was really well done, and
then like it just pissed it. Like it was the same thing. I felt the same way about the movie It Follows. Like people love that. Like the critics love that movie.
80s?
No, it was about the girl. Somehow she has sex with this guy, and people.
Yeah, you pass the thing along.
Yeah, passes that thing along, and people start following her that nobody else can see, and like.
I think it was set in the not an 80s movie, but it was set in the 80s.
I think it was set into like
tone.
very 80s tone, because there was a girl using an e-reader in it, and that's what threw me off.
And the score was all like synthesizers.
Another movie was I think The Guest, which was really good. Did you see that movie, Mike?
Yes.
It had it was about this guy who claims he was like a war buddy of like this family. And their son died, and he comes to visit, and he's
see it.
Oh man, dude, if you like, I know you're it's from the same guy who directed You're Next, and oh gosh, but yeah, it's now I need to look it up. See this, The Visitor.
It's not the movie, but what was that movie with the the children that visit their grandparents. And the
Oh
grandparents
yeah, that's The Visit. That movie gave me a panic attack.
It did.
It did. It gave me. I hate old people.
That old lady was creepy.
Old people scare the shit out of me. And when he put.
I don't know if I liked the film.
The Visit.
The Visit, huh?
It's kind of like
it's like kind of like a like.
What do you call it?
Found footage.
Found footage, yeah.
Kind of.
Gotcha.
But nobody ends up. The found footage is like she's making a movie, and I won't say what happens, but I mean everybody ends up okay, but well, maybe not everybody, but it's these kids that go visit their grandparents that they've never met before, and like the grandparents just are like, don't leave your rooms after like 9 p.m. and like you start seeing like all kinds of shit going down that is just scary as fuck. And it's from M. Night Shyamalan directed it. It was the movie that kind of put him back in the good graces of some critics. Like, I love Split. Like, did you see Split? Yeah. So you know about Unbreakable, right?
Yeah. I haven't seen the follow up.
Glass. It's coming out in like 3 weeks, January 19th. Okay. Since we all work for the Monolith. Is what I'm calling it now. I got one of the super passes for two movie passes for Fandango. You know, it was So that is the movie I'm going to see. I've been waiting 19 years to see the sequel to Unbreakable, and I am going to go see that. I'm
excited for Glass.
Yeah, Have you seen the trailer? Yeah, you've seen Unbreakable, right? Did you like it? Yeah. See, oh god, I love that movie. Yeah.
See, well, you know my thoughts on like the oversaturation of superhero movies, but
that was its
Unbreakable
own thing.
is just so subtle. And like its own thing. It's just
it's and the thing is, you don't even know it's a superhero movie until like 3/4 of the way through. You know, like that's what I just it's such a good movie. But yeah. So all right. So I'm trying to think. Oh, so The Guest, the one that I was talking about, it's directed by Adam Wingard, who also directed your next VHS Blair Witch, the most recent Blair Witch movie. Okay. But The Guest stars Dan Stevens, who played the guy he played the Beast in Beauty and the Beast. He was also on Downton Abbey. He was also in the show Legion. He was on a show called Legion, with Aubrey Plaza. Yeah, and what else? What else was he in?
Speaking of Aubrey Plaza,
he was in Colossal.
Have you guys seen?
Oh god, I love Aubrey.
Your Safety Not Guaranteed.
Safety Not Guaranteed. Yeah.
That is
sounds
really interesting.
I couldn't get into it.
Seriously?
Yeah, honestly,
a show?
It was a movie. It's a movie.
Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, and Colin
from the League.
Yeah, Colin Devereaux. That was the movie that made him that got him into directing that Jurassic World, the first Jurassic World, not the most recent one. But he was going to be the director of the third Star Wars movie, and then he made this book called The Book of Henry that came out this last year, and it did so poorly, and it got so lambasted critically that they basically said, "Nope, you're not doing the Star Wars movie."
I mean, how could it have been worse than what they actually produced?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, but no.
Did you say Star Wars?
Here's the thing. I like Star Wars. I've talked about this.
I love Star Wars.
I like Star Wars too.
But
Wearing a Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I like Star Wars when it's good.
Yeah, and there's a thing called beating a dead horse. You know?
Yeah. No. I hear, like I said, I like Star Wars, but here's the deal. If I never saw another Star Wars movie, I would not be crying in my cereal in the morning. Like I would be okay. My life would go my heart would go on. But
Star Wars is so big.
Yeah, it's big.
You don't have to have, two Jedi, duking it out over the light side and the dark side. I mean, I will say that about Solo. It takes us someplace that, is interesting.
A place in that universe.
That they haven't already beaten to death.
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe I will have to check out Solo then.
Paige. Did you tell her to?
Would you recommend Solo?
I mean, you're going to watch it, right? Whether I
I'm sure
recommend it or not,
eventually.
you're going to see it.
I started it when it was on Netflix, and I was like, I'm not really in the mood. But I only saw like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I think they're in like some market chasing.
There's stuff about it that, I rolled, but I enjoyed it. And I want to like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not, anything they do is going to be bad.
Infinity.
You want to give it a chance at least.
I'll say, and I think it was Razorfist the Rageaholic pointed this out on his vlog. He said, "You've managed to make the Millennium Falcon ugly." And I mean, the cockpit is all chromed out for some reason. I don't know why they made that decision. And then
wasn't the whole thing with, at least in the original films, that it was just kind of a bucket of shit. Like it was just a hodgepodge of parts that were kind of thrown together.
They had the sort of thing where the middle section of the saucer up front, those sort of mandibles. Apparently, that was their escape pod that they launched, and that space was filled in originally. And
that like rectangle gap.
Trying to explain the shape.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Did that really need to be explained?
That's the whole problem with the film is everything that they.
Do we need to know about midichlorians?
Didn't
oh
need,
God! Don't get me started on those fucking things.
Solo. Did we need?
Do we need?
Well, I don't have a last name.
I am kind of excited to see how that aren't they making a bounty hunter TV series?
They keep.
Or is it going back and forth?
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do that. Boba Fett was supposed to have his own standalone.
You mean
what's his name? The guy from
people would
Narcos?
definitely watch.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
What's the guy's name? He was one of the main detectives in Narcos. I can't think of his name. He played the prince.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I think he was slated to play Boba Fett.
Yeah. The one that got his head basically crushed by the mountain. Yeah. Oh God, that's gonna really bother me.
I know his name. I'm drawing a blank right now.
Yeah.
But I'm quite sure he was slated to play Boba Fett. Or if not Boba Fett, another bounty hunter in The Mandalorian.
Pedro Pascal is the name of the actor. Pedro. And he played on Game of Thrones, because I need to know, Oberyn Martell.
Oh, yeah.
No. Be nice. Yeah. And then he...
That's why you never celebrate until you're actually done.
And then he was in the Matt Damon ponytail Chinese movie.
Was that any good? I totally forgot about that movie.
The
dragons,
the Great Wall and stuff like that.
Is it like a fantasy flick or what?
I don't know I didn't even watch it.
I'm sure people will take the Great Wall to task for the same reason that they took The Last Samurai to task. And I will say,
I like The Last Samurai.
I did like The Last Samurai. That's a good Tom Cruise film, actually.
Yeah.
Going back to Tom Cruise.
See, here's the thing, man. I love Tom Cruise. I don't care how fucking crazy he is.
Vanilla Sky is still one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Vanilla Sky is a really good movie.
People hate the ending, but I didn't.
I love the ending. I think one thing I like is I miss is a good Cameron Crowe movie. Like he directed Almost Famous, which was came out in 2000, I think 2001. Do you remember that? You saw that, right?
Sure.
That's a great movie.
Yeah,
that's a classic now. And then he made Vanilla Sky, which got mixed to negative reviews, which I actually really like that movie. We both agree on that, right? And then he made a low, and I actually even liked Elizabethtown a little pretty. I thought that was pretty entertaining.
I did not see that.
But then he made Aloha, and he made what's her name, Emma Stone. It's Emma Stone, right? The one from La La Land. Yeah.
This movie is nothing like Almost Famous, but for some reason it reminds me. I just watched this YouTube original movie called Bodied. It's kind of about rap battle culture.
Oh, really?
Have you heard? It was produced by Eminem.
Huh. No.
Did you ever see American Graffiti on Netflix?
I love American Graffiti.
Wait. Not American. American.
I was gonna
Vandal.
say that's
American
like another
Vandal.
George Lucas movie.
Yeah, but American Vandal, one of the actors from there is the lead in this film. But
yeah, I don't.
Never heard of it.
I'm behind on a lot of stuff on Netflix. Yeah,
Well, this is a YouTuber. I didn't know YouTube was making movies or original
YouTube
series.
Red, like Cobra Kai.
Yeah, Cobra Kai.
I really want to see that.
I heard I've got a good friend who has a YouTube subscription specifically
to watch Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
My parents watched it. They said it was really good.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I don't know what YouTube's plan is because they clearly want to be Netflix. Like they want to be.
Well, I was looking. They have a few series at least. Like they have a sci-fi show called Origin. That movie Bodied, produced by Eminem. They have what was the other one I just saw? Impulse. Impulse is kind of like. Did you ever see 13
do you have
Reasons
YouTube
Why?
Red then?
I do, yeah. Well, I got it originally because I used to listen to just random like podcasts on YouTube while I fell asleep on an old phone, but they changed their policy at one point where if you turned off your screen, YouTube wouldn't play unless you bought the red version. Right. So I finally buckled and got it, but I listen to a lot of music on there, so it just cuts out all the ads. And
my buddy was really into like Gavin McInnes podcast.
Gavin McInnes.
YouTube.
Yeah.
On YouTube, and they kicked Gavin McInnes. So I was like, "So are you gonna drop your subscription? Like you're one of the only people I know."
Yeah, wasn't there
YouTube
something
Red.
with
And he was
like
like
Party Boy or something Boys, something.
The Proud Boys.
Proud Boys, but it was like something. I have limited knowledge of this, but it started as a joke that became real. Like people actually started causing violent actions at like protests and.
They show up at a protest. Well, I mean, usually they are having a rally, and Antifa shows up with like metal batons,
switchblade,
mace, and all sorts of things, and they just defend themselves, but they're better at fighting. So I mean, obviously they win, but I mean the Proud Boys are like.
So, like, how did that even start?
There's a confrontation.
Like I said, I've only heard kind of bits and pieces.
Well,
what started
I'm not the expert on the Proud Boys.
Okay.
You should research it. But they're certainly not. To say that they're a heavily exclusionary group, I mean, first off, you need to go and define what you think nationalism is for yourself rather than what people want you to think nationalism means. And then you'll be able to determine for yourself who are the Proud Boys. I will say that. Well, I don't know. You know what? Check it out. Yeah, it's not really something for Hal's podcast.
But
to talk about the Proud Boys.
Oh yeah.
How did we even get off?
You know movie? Yeah. You know, but
we were talking about YouTube.
Have you did you ever read anything by Stephen Hunter?
Stephen Hunter is.
They made a movie out of his book, Shooter.
Shooter, yeah.
Yeah, Billy.
Yeah,
Bob Lee Swagger or whatever, something like that. They made a movie. He wrote a book called Dirty White Boys.
He's written. I did read Dirty White Boys.
Yeah, that was a great book, I thought. And
a coworker actually loaned it to me.
Yeah, I own that book, and Matthew McConaughey would be perfect in that role. Yeah, in the lead. But yeah, no. I really wish
Ryan Felipe, that Shooter, or the movie with
they made the movie with Mark Wahlberg first, and then they turned
Shooter
it into
with
a TV
Ryan
show.
Felipe was a TV series, I believe.
Yeah,
same.
I still think that's a terrible name, Bob Lee Swagger or whatever it is.
Is that the character's name?
Yeah, Bob Lee.
Yep, I see that right here.
Bob Lee Swagger. That's just like the worst name.
Having two names as your first name is never
Bob
good.
Lee. The only thing I've really been watching on Netflix lately, besides The Fosters, is Ozark, and that's
I've seen Ozark.
It's pretty good.
The three of us should probably write a screenplay.
I've written at least 2.5 already.
Oh, right.
Yeah, one of them is terrible. But
did you enjoy
I mean,
Ozark?
What?
Did you enjoy Ozark?
We haven't finished watching the second season yet, but I enjoy it. I think it's getting a little too convoluted for its own good.
That's
guess
usually
that's
the downfall
kinda
of
how
any
I felt.
series.
I like show like we're watching Fargo, and I think that's fantastic. Like Billy Bob Thornton is just that is he's just a brilliant actor.
Let's talk about TV, man.
Yeah.
What do you guys watch like what is it, the Fabulous Miss Maisel or whatever?
Yeah, Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Marvelous Miss Maisel. You didn't like it?
Here, all right.
Let's
I'm
hear
gonna. All right. So here's the deal. I like the Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Hmm.
I like it, but it won Best Comedy. Okay. And she won Best Actress in a Comedy, and Alex Borstein won Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy. Here's the deal. It is a show about comedy,
right?
But it is not a comedy to me. Like I don't.
I think it's comedic.
I think it's has its funny moments, like, but I think it's a drama about comedians.
But
didn't Jim Carrey also have a show about
dramas
about
can't
comedy?
be funny and
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
comedies can't be dramatic. I mean,
No. I mean, and I personally think that they gave it as many awards as it did because Amy Sherman Palladino, who did the Gilmore Girls, got basically booed. Got shunned the whole time the Gilmore Girls was playing. So they were just like finally like, all right, let's just give it to her finally.
How?
Because it's
How many awards did Mad Men win?
Ugh, that show sucked. I like. All right.
I'm just saying, like the comparison of this very.
I like the first season of Mad Men, and
well crafted, tirelessly,
yeah,
period accurate.
Breaking Bad, I think, for me is probably the best show of the last decade. I mean, it really is. I mean, I don't think any show ever got it quite as. Did you?
I saw.
Did you like it?
I didn't see the follow up. Although I've been wanting to see.
Better Call Saul.
Yeah. I've heard it gets better after like the first.
Yeah, the first season was okay. I heard it gets more intense, just like Breaking Bad. But I just think Breaking Bad I think they did a really good job of building it up, and then just saying, you know what, we're not going to stretch this any thinner than it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They knew when to pull the plug and call it.
The last season did kind of stretch a little bit for me, like.
Really?
Well, just this plan at the end had so many variables that could have gone
wrong.
Oh,
yeah. Well, yeah.
That's really the only part I didn't like. The car had to be in the exact right position. Right. It just happened to be.
Yeah. My favorite show of all time is Lost, actually.
I did like Lost.
I love Lost. Did you
I saw it way after its heyday,
I think that the things that I like are not the same as the things that other people like usually.
Yeah.
I didn't see Lost until like 2 years ago, though.
Really? I like the OC, too.
I really enjoyed, like, Rescue Me.
Rescue Me was good for the first few seasons, and then after a while I thought it
firefighter show.
Yeah.
I only saw a couple
Dennis Leary. I mean, the first 2 seasons are amazing, and then I think somehow or another they just decided that they were just gonna like just turn it into a like comedy, and it got really. Yeah. I don't know. I thought
The Shield really had its hooks in.
The Shield.
I still have to keep watching that. You got me to start it.
I have the whole season.
What's on? What was I watching it on? Hulu or maybe it was Amazon. Yeah.
The Shield is
got through like the first
best
season
shows ever on television.
That's really good.
I made the mistake of taking a break and starting a different show. Never got back into it.
What's
from the Shield.
The guy who ran that show,
Sean Ryan.
Thank you.
He does the show Timeless with Eric Kripke, who did Supernatural.
Who's the character in the Shield that? No matter what his intentions are, he always fucks something up.
Shane.
Walton Goggins. And I've been watching. I went back and started watching Justified.
We started watching the first episode, and then we just didn't keep going. I don't know why.
I did that like 3 times, so I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Is it worth
we still haven't finished.
I got through the 2nd season, and it pays off.
Timothy Olyphant?
I think Nick
he's
terrific.
Is it Timothy Olyphant?
Yeah, Timothy Olyphant.
I liked that zombie movie.
Yeah, Santa Clarita Diet. Yeah, it's great.
So weird.
It's such a good show.
What was that zombie movie that he was in? Maybe not zombies, but
I know what you're talking about. The evils or something like that. The crazies or whatever.
The crazies. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't zombies. I think the movie starts. There's a government plane that crashes, and something gets into the water source. And...
You know, movie's really good that nobody's seen. I like the movie with Rainn Wilson called Super. Have you seen that one? Where he plays a superhero. hero.
I started watching that with a group of people years ago, and nobody wanted to watch it after like the first 20 minutes. I never finished it. But
there's been a bunch of those sort of off-kilter superhero movies. I think that's an interesting genre. Like, what was Woody Harrelson's?
Oh, I liked that one.
Yeah.
I saw that one. Yeah, I don't remember the name of it though.
And he wasn't really a superhero, was he? He was just a guy that decided to start fighting crime.
That's what superheroes are.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
I like Mystery Man a lot.
Yeah, but he couldn't
I
fly
shovel, and I shovel well.
Well, and there's the Tick is super off kilter too, and they redid that with Peter. What's his name from Shaun of the Dead?
Shaun of the Dead. Peter. He has a really long name. Yeah.
Oh, another movie with Woody Harrelson I need to see is that War of the Planet of the Apes. You said that was really
those
good.
are good. Those are really good.
Those are kind of along the movies where I felt if you saw one, you saw them all. But that one
War of the Planet
is worth seeing.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's another one just on the tip of my brain that was another of these sort of Michael Rappaport.
Yeah.
Did a really bizarre superhero movie.
Yeah.
And I think it's just called Super.
Yeah, I think you're right. Super was with Rainn Wilson, but I know what you're talking about.
I'll look it up. But he goes on some medication that makes him feel
Defender. Is that the one you're talking
about?
Defendor, yeah.
They're like, that's not a word. Defendor.
Sorry.
Exceedingly not compelling. Special was his name.
Special.
Or the name of the film.
Okay.
And that's 2006, so that's really back in the day.
Yeah.
But I always think those are sort of interesting stories that people take something to its perhaps more logical conclusion. I mean, this idea that you can put on a costume and go be a superhero.
Yeah.
Kick-Ass, I guess, is an example of that. And
the second one was terrible.
Is it?
I think it's terrible.
I did like Jim Carrey's character, though.
Yeah, but I just thought it didn't have the pizzazz that the first one had. Yeah. Like I love the director of Kick-Ass and the Kingsman.
The second King was it? There's only two Kingsmen, right?
The Kingsman.
Matthew Vaughn.
I enjoyed the Kingsman. The second one was.
It was a little.
Both of those for me are just like I get that they're. I do think that they're just pandering.
Well, I like films where you see someone kind of like, you have this nobody and through circumstance they become somebody and kind of that journey.
Yeah, but
the second one didn't have that.
I went to riches.
It's not. Here's the thing. So
I like Colin Firth.
They made a movie
completely
in the 80s with jeez.
We're getting old, aren't we?
It was like a.
And we're just like,
I'm usually old.
What are you, 37?
What?
37? You.
Me, I'm gonna be 38 in March.
I'm 44.
Are you really 41?
No way.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I thought you were 41.
I mean, don't.
Sorry, dude. Sorry. We're just like, all of a sudden, we're just like gobstruck. We're just like, Can I just go on I'm Mission Impossible. Like,
we never got.
We never really got to that. I love that movie, Mission Impossible Fallout. Like, he's just it's the gold standard for me as far as action movies. Like,
I do respect that he does all his own stunts.
Yeah, I mean that, and I think,
like he is.
I mean he's a movie star.
Every time it's sort of like, will this be the film that breaks Tom Cruise?
But I was talking in a previous podcast. There are really no more movie stars anymore. I mean, movie stars to me are actors.
Tell that to Scarlett Johansson.
Just hang tight. Hang tight. Can you think of one actor right now that you would go see in a movie because just their name alone is in it? You would go see a movie with Tom Hardy.
Why? That's why I watched Venom.
Jason Patrick.
Jason, you'd go see a movie with Jason Patrick because he's
you know what? 50% of the time I'd be disappointed, but
yeah. See, but all the movies that the actors that are stars right now are franchise films for the most part.
Yeah.
So what I was trying to say earlier was,
or part of a universe.
Richard Grieco was in this movie.
Oh,
in his 30s,
looks could kill.
I'm sure. He's so improbably cast as a high school student.
Yeah, if looks could kill,
becomes like this superhero. Like a super spy.
Yeah.
Overnight, gets all the gadgets, and that's how the Kingsman feels to me. And
yeah.
And I know he went through his little training.
Oh, I remember
shoot the dog and all this stuff, but it's just.
I remember Looks Could Kill. I remember that in the theater.
I'm willing to suspend a lot of disbelief for a certain type of ride, but
that Richard Grieco never actually used mascara.
Kingsman really feels like pandering to me.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know.
Did you like Stardust though? Yeah, that was the movie I really enjoyed that Matthew Vaughn did.
You're talking about the Neil Gaiman?
Yeah, the Neil
story?
Gaiman. Yeah.
Well, I like Neil Gaiman, so of course I'm gonna like. Stardust.
I wasn't crazy about American Gods. Not the book or the.
Well, I like American Gods a lot more than I like Stardust, so that's probably the disconnect there.
You have to go.
No.
Okay. Hold on. Jasper. Hold on.
Where's the?
It's right across from
American, but I read American Gods like. I read American Gods 20 years ago, and I've always found those characters and settings to be compelling.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, Stardust is still a children's film, so I mean, if you take it on that basis,
right? Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of it is silly, and they clearly Hollywooded it up. But
I wish we were talking about. I remember the last time we were talking about was Vince Vaughn. Like he needs to start doing movies again, like Return to Paradise and movies that actually show him as an actor and not just like a blow up doll. Like you know what I mean? Like he was in such an amount of crap.
He's got that quick delivery. And I think he's sharp.
He's got in
Return to Paradise in.
Cell Block and Swingers.
Swingers, yeah, absolutely.
Swingers.
In The Prime Gig is a terrific movie.
I know.
You gotta watch that, man.
I know. I still have it too. You let me borrow it like a year ago.
And what's the one he did where he's like a single father situation?
Cool Dry Place.
Cool Dry Place is terrific to watch. And I just really enjoyed those films, and he's not in those movies anymore, and I get it. I mean, if you can make $1 hojillion to be in, Wedding Crashers 3 or whatever, but
yeah, we're gonna have to wrap this up soon. It's still recording. I don't care.
You can edit it.
Yeah. So.
There's probably a lot of stuff that I should go ahead and watch, and there's a lot of things that I kind of been waiting. I mean, in the last 3 years, what surprised you?
In the last 3 years,
because I don't feel like there was that much that really caught me out of left field this year.
Honestly, I think just about anything that in the last 3 years, gosh, I think Interstellar. I mean, did that happen? Was that 3 years ago or was that 4 years?
It's got to have been in the last 3 years. Right?
Yeah. And then I like The Hateful Eight.
I wasn't crazy about that.
I know. Well, you don't like Quentin Tarantino, man.
I can't like Quentin Tarantino anymore because all he does is revenge porn.
Well, the last one, Hateful Eight wasn't really revenge porn. It was more like a.
It is later revealed to be revenge. No, you know what? And I'll say this. it is a departure from his last couple of, because he did Kill Bill.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I'm not gonna make all these overly convoluted storylines anymore because people don't get it or it's work or whatever. I'm gonna do revenge porn, Kill Bill. Yeah. I'm gonna channel Grindhouse movies, and I'm gonna.
That was great, Grindhouse.
Yeah, and I mean it's for what it is.
For what it is, yeah.
But I mean, it's not. It certainly doesn't rival, Pulp Fiction and other movies he was involved in. I mean, when I think of those couple of movies that came out in those years that he was involved in, or even tertiary, like True Romance, right?
I love True Romance.
That, didn't he?
That was his first produced screenplay.
Right,
and Tony Scott directed it.
That's a terrific movie.
It's a terrific movie. Yeah, like that scene with Dennis Hopper and Christopher Walken. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
And like it's just so perfectly written. Yeah.
Have you seen Killing Zoe?
Hold on. Jasper doesn't just knock it over.
Have you seen Killing Zoe?
No, but I love Julia Delpy, and I know she's naked in that movie, so therefore I must see it.
You definitely should, and it's
He's in there a while.
Apparently, the screenplay was just so. So somebody said, he was pitching screenplays like he does, and somebody said, well, actually, we have the use of this old bank to film in for a little while, but we have a very small window. Stories, because if they turn out to not be true, I'll be disappointed. But supposedly, Roger Avery was told they had this very small window which they could film in this bank setting. Before they got rid of the bank or whatever, and like a bank had closed or something, and he said, "Oh, I've got just the screenplay for you guys. You're gonna love this. I'll bring it to you next week." And then over the weekend, he wrote the screenplay that became Killing Zoe. And, and that'll probably turn out to be untrue, and I'll be disappointed. But that's what I've heard.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna wrap this up, dude. So what? Tell me what would you say your favorite movie of 2018 was, and what are you looking for the most this next year?
Man, do I have to pick one?
Pick a couple.
Mandy was definitely up there. I really liked Upgrade.
I'm gonna check that out there. Yeah.
I saw Overlord. I don't know if either of you guys.
No, I didn't see Overlord yet.
Well, if we're wrapping it up, we'll leave it at that. But yeah, Mandy and Upgrade were up there. Yeah. Quiet Place was solid.
Yeah.
As far as what I'm looking forward to the new year, well, I guess TV show wise, I want to see that season 3 True Detective.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
With Mahershala. Yeah, supposedly Game of Thrones. The producers and writers have said that you're gonna need like therapy after you see the final.
What?
Really?
Yeah, that's what they said.
I guess the whole there's a whole episode that's just like a giant. Well, at least what I've read, a giant battle scene, just the whole episode.
Oh,
maybe the whole season.
Are you behind? You mean for this next season?
Yeah, coming up.
I don't know, man. I don't usually watch Game of Thrones until it comes on Blu-ray, and I've done a very, very good job of actually keeping myself spoiler free. I mean, I knew there was going to be the Battle of the Bastards, and there's going to be the Red Wedding, and not in that particular order, but I mean, as far as
you haven't even seen that far yet?
No, I have every season on Blu-ray.
Oh, okay.
I'm up to date. I probably just won't see the final season until it comes to Blu-ray. But Mike, you? What do you look?
I mean, I gotta say, I watched a lot of popcorn movies this year, and they were all okay.
Yeah.
To some extent or other, but I didn't really see anything that knocked my socks off. They caught me off guard,
Not
which is
even-
why I asked you, like,
Yeah.
what caught you off guard? Because
I think
didn't
Mission Impossible
experience
did.
that this year.
And I think because.
I think it's good.
We'll watch Mandy.
But those movies always have.
Well, no, I mean, but we're talking about if we're talking about action movies, I'd say Mission Impossible simply because I feel like it's a series that actually keeps getting better as it goes along.
But you also know what to expect from it.
I didn't expect certain things.
What's Mission Impossible?
I wasn't expecting Henry Cavill to have a mustache.
That's true.
No,
In the same regard, you know what to expect from it.
I was not expecting a Nicolas Cage movie to be my favorite movie of the year, nor was I expecting a Vince Vaughn movie last year to be my favorite movie of the year.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, you know, so I mean...
we were talking about this while you were out of the room. Check out some of Vincent Vaughn's old movies from the beginning part of his career.
But he was actually called Vincent Vaughn.
He was in the second Jurassic Park. He was pretty young and thin then.
Check out.
Yeah,
Like, are you talking even before then?
Check out the Prime Gig, which is hard to
I think
find.
didn't you let you borrow that?
Prime
Check
Gig?
out-
No, I've never heard of it.
It's
The
terrific.
Prime Gig?
With Vince Vaughn and Ed Harris.
Vince Vaughn and Ed Harris and
No.
Julia Ormond, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So Ed Harris still making movies? I haven't seen
Ed
him in a
Harris is
while.
Ed Harris is like
A Cool Dry Place. Check out Return to Paradise.
That sounds familiar. A Cool Dry Place.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's sort of
Wait,
like this
Return to
weird
Paradise, is
Kramer
that-
versus
Okay.
Kramer remake, essentially.
my wife has officially said we need to be done now. So.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're wrapping it up.
Signing off.
All right, signing off.
Adios.
All right, cheers. This has been fun, and everybody have a happy 2009. Happy New Year.
2019, everyone.
We'll be more coherent and less. And Mike will be another year older than he is now, and we'll be still behind him. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks for listening. And as always, watch movies, TV, and do it all one day at a time.
Neuronymous.